Hello, my name is Heather Ferguson. I am a soon-to-be graduate of Fitchburg State University. I will graduate with a degree in middle and secondary education with a concentration in English. The question I have chosen to answer today is, what type of feedback have you received, and what do you do with the feedback? I have received a wide variety of feedback from a wide variety of sources. The most frequent source of feedback, however, is my students. From my students, the feedback I receive is very opinionated and refreshing. They tell me exactly what they're thinking and why they are thinking it. I usually get feedback on the level of challenge presented in my assignments, and why they feel that it is too difficult, or not difficult enough. When they tell me that they find assignments too challenging, I go further and ask them why. Generally, the answer is they don't feel they have enough time or support to finish the assignment. Using this feedback, I work in more time for my students to finish, and I add in supportive scaffolding and group work. When students feel that they are on their own in work, they feel less capable and more anxious. Using that feedback, I let my students work in pre-selected group, which greatly reduces their levels of anxiety. I also made an effort to circulate the room to offer my own support when needed, though many of my students now feel confident enough to complete the assignments without my assistance when they work in groups. When my students feel that the assignments aren't challenging enough, I add a level of complexity. Instead of just asking what is going on in the story we're reading, I ask them to dig deeper and analyze the text. In the case of my unit on All Quiet on the Western Front, I asked my students to specifically look at the relationships between characters and how that shapes them. I asked them to look deeply at the meaning of the novel and to pull textual evidence to support their claims with. With mixed ability classes, it is often very safe to just ask for the surface level of detail from these students, but they were finding it far too easy. That feedback changed the way that I taught the novel entirely, going from a very surface level comprehension to a deeper analysis. I also received feedback from my supervising practitioner and from my university supervisor. They both helped me to shape my teaching and sharpen my abilities. The biggest piece of feedback I have received was about my pacing and timing of my lessons. I began my student teaching at a very fast-paced speed, and through working with my students and supervisors, I have managed to adapt my lessons to a more appropriate pace. All of the feedback I receive goes towards bettering my lesson and unit plans. I use every piece I get to adapt and change. Thank you for your time.